Welcome from Bali. My name is Melanie. This video is for those of you who are starting your carnivore journey. So, 5 things I would do as a beginner carnivore are 5 things I wish I knew as a beginner carnivore. The first thing is transition. So, transitioning slowly so that it is sustainable for you. So, for example, for me, I took about a month to transition where I would start to switch like one meal that I would only do carnivore, for example, and then still have like rice and some vegetables and whatnot. And then eventually, then I added 2 meals, and then it became just like where I would only have just only meat and dairy. And so the reason I'm suggesting this goes into my second thing as to what I wish I knew as a carnivore. Hopefully, this sound is not going to be too annoying. Um, and it is because of minerals. So for me, for example, when I transitioned, even though I took 4 weeks, um, I still got big shifts in my body because a lot of I don't want to say the problems, but I had a lot of inflammation. And so when I transitioned to carnivore, I lost a lot of water weight. And because I lost a lot of water weight, I ended up getting a lot of headaches. And the only way that I figured out to help that was to basically get this trace mineral dropper that I would add in water. And then I would use that to, replenish my minerals essentially. And so I think because even though I took 4 weeks, I still think it maybe was a little bit too fast for my body in a sense where I went from having food that were inducing inflammation to nothing at all. Um, but in the end, I still think it was okay. I only really struggled with the headaches for about 2 weeks, I would say, and I never ever get headaches, so that was kind of weird for me. And it wasn't constant, which is nice. It just would come on in the afternoon, but yeah, start using minerals before and then transition slowly so that essentially you're not shocking your system and just shocking yourself, and so that you can make it way more sustainable. This should become a lifestyle. So there's no rush. Make it so that it's really like part of who you are and something that you want to do rather than like seeing it as like a diet. Um, have my notes here. Okay, so the other thing that I wish I knew or that I should have implemented sooner. I grew up in the 80s, and so I guess and I was born in the 80s. I grew up really in the 90s where low fat was a thing. And so everything you bought was low fat. So when I went carnivore, although I feel like I've healed a lot of my weird or my unhealthy relationships to food, I still had a bit of like reluctance with fat. I think in the beginning, like I still had fat. Like I still always, even before carnivore, I would still enjoy eggs with butter and that kind of stuff. But then what I realized, and especially when you do transition, is if you end up especially constipated, that's just a sign that your body needs more fat. And for me, I only experienced that a couple of times, and literally that's how I healed it pretty rapidly. When I felt like I was like, oh, usually I have bowel movements every day, and when I didn't have that, I just consumed more fat, and then it took care of it. And also, just fat is good for you, and so yeah, don't be scared to eat fat. And then that kind of goes into my other point is um, eat more than you think. This is not about calories in, calories out. It's really about giving nutrition to your body. And these kind of calories and nutrition is very different than what you would do if you're having like processed sugar or like carbs or any of this stuff. And so for me, especially as a woman and having hormones and cycles and that kind of stuff, uh, the like having breakfast in the morning really helps. And having more than just 2 eggs, like I'll have 4 eggs, I might have some bacon or sausage or whatever until I am full. And then after in the evening, sometimes in the afternoon, and whenever I feel that like the genuine hunger signal, not the I'm bored, I need to eat, but when I feel the genuine hunger signal, then I will have a second meal or a third meal. And this is what I notice for me. Like, I have very telltales if I don't eat enough, which is not very often. But I think especially in the beginning, it's just eating more to satiate the body so that you're not basically like craving other foods. Like, if you feel yourself still being hungry, it's probably because you need to eat more food. So if you're trying to heal your body in any way, eat. Eat until you feel good and eat good food. And then the last thing is, I know that depending on where you're at, I'm lucky enough, I live in Bali. So I have access to meat, good quality meat for affordable prices. But I made it even more affordable with buying directly from a farmer. And so I'll just message them, and then sometimes I can pay like 10 Canadian dollars, maybe 15 Canadian dollars for 1 kg of strip loin or tenderloin, like really affordable. So seeking out local farmers, or yeah, like small farms. And sometimes if you can, I guess upfront it might feel like a lot, but if you can either buy a full cow or a part of a cow or share a cow with someone or that kind of stuff, then it just makes this process feel a lot more seamless than always having to run to the grocery store. Like, the more food you can have in your fridge, and I realize that that's not always an option for all of us. But if you have that option to buy in bulk, it will in the long term save you a lot of money. And then even like, I always try to keep eggs and butter, and mincemeat often will be a little bit more affordable. And I know there's a lot of conversations around organic, grass fed, and all of those things. And of course, if you can get the best of the best, like, that would be ideal. And I still think you can make a huge shift in your body by still buying. If your only option is a grocery store, second option, buying from a farmer's market, and then, or like a farmer directly from a farmer, and just buying bulk. I know there's no Costco here, but I do see in a lot of the other carnivore videos that people go to Costco and you can get decent meat there. And I think it's one of those things you don't realize it's available until you start seeking for it. And for example, even like, I'm from Canada and you can hunt there, or people will get tags to buy moose and that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of those options that you can buy from people directly that you might not realize were there. So yeah, that's it for my 5 things I wish I knew and what I would suggest if you're a beginner carnivore. If you have any other questions, please comment below. I'm sharing my journey to help those of you that need some healing in your life. Hopefully this can help a few of you. And hopefully you're not too annoyed by the sound or as much as I am trying to focus on the camera. I know I get distracted. So subscribe to my channel and see you next time.